Hey guys, I'm here with Alex from Clean Max Auto Detailing in Hawaii, and we're working on this C6 Corvette back window. And what I've done is I've set it up with the H pattern, and I'm gonna do one side, and then he's gonna do one side. And not only that, but I'm gonna break it down and I'm gonna just do a little bit, and he's gonna try to mimic me on this side. Okay, so we've got our heat guns warmed up. Alex, get into position and watch me very closely. And for those of you at home, pretend like you're Alex standing right next to me, and you're gonna try to mimic exactly what I'm doing. And what you're gonna find is that it's harder to mimic exactly what I'm doing than you might think. Think of a golfer showing you how to hit a golf shot and then you attempting to mimic exactly what they're doing. Obviously it seems simple because you just watch them, but it's a little bit more complicated than one might think. So here we go. Notice how close I am. Okay, notice my speed. Notice how close I am. Notice how my heat gun is directly at the film. If it's slightly like this, the heat's gonna ricochet. I hold it directly at the film. So now let's watch Alex mimic exactly what I just did. Same heat gun, same film, same setup. He's going back and forth. He's got it directly at the film. And he's moving his left hand really well. And just come down just about as far as I did. That looked, really, really good, okay? Now we're gonna squeegee it out. Keep your heat gun on, Alex, just so it stays at the same temperature, okay? He's gonna squeegee out, and it's important that we have the exact same result when he's done squeegeeing out. He went a little bit further than me. Careful squeegeeing too far down to, that's where a lot of creases come from. A lot of creases come from squeegeeing too far down on stuff that's not shrunk. So for instance, hopefully the camera can pick up this finger, but this finger is not shrunk yet. The film needs to be going sideways before you squeegee it out. So if somebody was to come through here and squeegee that, you can see it's gonna crease. So really quick, squeegee just this finger to catch it up to this line that we have right here, just that finger. And what you wanna do is actually start where my finger is and work up towards the tip. And not bad, squeegee that out. Great technique. Okay, now we can also squeegee these out because these are going sideways. So he did a great job, but you can still notice some subtle differences. Okay, very subtle, but there are some differences in the way the film looks. Okay, let's go back to it. Notice what I do with my left hand. Notice my body position. You have to be willing to treat this like a sport if you want to be successful. Welders do the same thing. They get really technical about their movement, how fast they're moving, how close they are. Everything they're doing comes into play when talking about welding, and it's the same thing with heat shrinking. So notice my speed. Notice how I'm holding the heat gun, okay? Notice where I'm pointing the heat gun. I'm never pointing the heat gun where the finger starts. I'm always pointing the heat gun about a ½ inch past where the finger starts. So when I get done squeegeeing out, it's easy to see where all the fingers start, right? And I point the heat gun about a ½ inch to an inch past where the fingers start, right where my card is. Not right here, right here. So let's see that one more time. If I go a little too fast, I'm not gonna shrink it enough. If I go a little too slow, I'm gonna over shrink it. Okay, got a little finger there and a tiny little crease there. Let's see if I can get that crease out. Little breaks, little breaks, little breaks, little breaks. You can always go back and give it more heat. If you give it too much heat, you can't take that away. Okay, so now I got that little crease out. I brought it closer to the matrix line. Let's see if Alex can do exactly what I just did. A little bit more wiggle waggle on your heat gun. There you go. Straight at the film. It's ricocheting a little bit. There you go. Great. A little bit slower. Just a little bit. Not bad, Alex. Not bad at all. Great job. Pause right there. Okay, so when you're just starting, you want to squeegee more often. It's more advanced to shrink a lot without squeegeeing. When you're just starting, you want to do one pass, squeegee it out. One pass, squeegee it out. Okay, because the reason why it's more advanced to shrink more before squeegeeing is because you have to be better at reading the film. So just like driving on the freeway with more people, you have to be better at reading traffic, whereas it's obviously easier in the middle of the night and there's only 1 or 2 people on the freeway. You don't have to be as good at reading the traffic. So go ahead and squeegee out what you have. You're doing great. And I really like this strategy of teaching people how to shrink, where I'm right next to them on the exact same window, on the exact same film, and they're mimicking me. Okay, so these lines, they're going sideways. You can squeegee these out as well. Now, one thing I talked about before we started filming on our last try is I took the Sharpie and I drew 2 lines. You'll notice we don't go between these 2 lines. This is off limits on this particular window. So we're gonna save this film till the very end, and we're actually pulling the film towards this center part, okay? So again, starting to notice some differences here in the way our film looks. You shrunk a little bit more than I did, which is not bad, okay? I don't wanna go to fixing it right now, but as tempting as that is, okay? So I'm gonna move my left hand a lot. Very close to the film, and my shakes on the heat gun are very consistent. Very consistent. I like to feel like a robot, where my shakes are the exact same consistency, and the gap between my moves with my left hand are the exact same gap. Say I'm moving my thumb 2 inches, exactly 2 inches. It's not 2 inches one time and then a half inch. I'm again feeling like a robot, where all my movements are symmetrical. That's my goal. Okay, everyone has their own style when it comes to shrinking. My style is make it look easy. Oh, so here I got a little burn, but when we're done, we're gonna pull out the light and see where the matrix is. And I can see right here, the matrix is where my card is. That burn is right outside the matrix, which is part of the reason why we leave this extra film. So now, Alex, go ahead and try to mimic exactly what I just did. Have all your movements be as symmetrical as possible. Nice. Great job. Great job, squeegee. Keep your heat gun on. We want to keep our heat gun on so the temperature of the heat gun is always staying consistent and we're not having to adjust our technique to the temperature of the heat gun. Okay, so what we have here is some lines that are going sideways. We can squeegee those out. And actually, this was, I think, your best one. So as I squeegee, this film keeps popping up. I don't want to try to force that down with my squeegee. That's where you're going to get a crease. So the only place after I squeegee all this out that you need to shrink is just right here. Start at the base and work up towards the front of it. A little bit closer. One more time. Perfect. Now we can come through and squeegee that out. And again, once we're all done with this video, we're gonna come back through with the light and show you where the matrix line is, because with this 5% film, it is really hard to see where the matrix is. So now, and only now, can we easily come through and shrink this center part. And that's it. And now we're ready to go to the bottom of the window. So let's do the same thing down here. Again, I'm gonna grab my Sharpie as a reminder for Alex and I to stay out of this middle part. So I draw lines here. This is off limits until the very end, okay? So that just acts as a reminder for us. And for those of you watching, to kind of get an idea, it's important that we don't do this until the end, because we want to invite a lot of this tension or a lot of this film that needs to be shrunk into the middle. So as you watch Alex and I, notice how we're pulling towards the middle. Also, during my setup on this particular window, which again is a Corvette C6, it's critical, I think, to leave this little wing on both sides, because this window is not shaped like a traditional rectangle like most of our windows. But if we leave this wing, it creates more of a rectangle, okay? So notice how I hold the heat gun. And notice where I'm pointing the heat gun. Notice my speed. And notice how all my movements are very symmetrical. Okay, notice what my ripples look like. Where I stop shrinking is very defined. All this is laying flat. When your film lays flat like this, you know your recipe is right on point. I basically don't even need to squeegee this out because it's all laying flat. I'm gonna come through and squeegee it out just to make it very clear for the viewers to see where I've stopped shrinking. Right here is obviously where I'm gonna take off. Now I can come all the way down, but if I do, that's gonna make Alex's side even harder, and that would be unfair for this demonstration. And even when I'm shrinking this film by myself, even though I can come all the way down right here, I don't. I come about halfway down, then I come over here, do a little bit, then come over here, do a little bit, and try to work it down evenly. So Alex, go ahead. And I'm leaving my heat gun on. Oh, I love how close you are to the film. Hold the heat gun on the back of the heat gun like I was. On the very back of the heat gun, like a swan. There you go. Oh, wow. Way better. Nice and firm pressure with that squeegee. There you go, just come straight down here. There you go, come straight down. Okay? I mean, that right there is close to perfect as far as mimicking what I did. It looks like you can shrink maybe just another ½ inch to catch it up to mine. Hold it like a swan, like this. Shake that heat gun, shake that heat gun. There you go. Beautiful, perfect. Excellent, now we're gonna come over here. And this is where I'm gonna utilize this extra film that I left. I'm actually gonna start shrinking out here where there's no glass and work up. Notice how I'm holding the heat gun. I'm really holding it like a swan. If I need to, I can come out here and shrink this film. That's why I left it. Or I could pull on it. Grab my tool. Got it, thank you. Try to mimic me. Pull relatively hard. Great job. Straight at the film. Starting to ricochet a little bit with the heat gun. There you go. That's okay. Tapping the film doesn't do anything. I like when trainees tap the film because that tells me that they're actually close enough. A little tiny burn. Now don't be afraid to use full pressure. If anything, if you're ever worried about squeegeeing out the film, be worried about not using enough pressure. Don't be worried about using too much pressure. If you don't use enough pressure, that's when it's gonna crease. So a little mistake there with the heat gun, but what I wanna see you do is hold the film right here, work from your palm, and work up, just like that. Work from your palm, come bring your palm a little bit toward, there you go. Start right here and work up to get that out. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, right there, keep going, right there. Perfect, squeegee it out. And again, use firm pressure. And again, in between these Sharpie lines, you can see there's almost nothing to shrink. So now I'm gonna come through here. Don't even have to shake the heat gun. I'm just going back and forth with it. And boom. So, Alex did an absolutely wonderful, oh my gosh, I think I just got your crease out. That wasn't even a bad crease. Okay, almost 100% mimicked what I was doing. Okay, so now I've got my light and I just kind of want to show where the matrix is. You can see the matrix is here. Where I creased it is about a ½ inch away from it. It's really more of a burn from using too much isolated heat. Alex did a great job of getting everything past the matrix with no flaws at all. And really, he made it so far past the matrix that if he had creased it, you know, within an inch here, the whole thing could be slid down and be saved. So if you guys can see over here, exactly where the matrix is, it's right here. And he got it way past the matrix. So this is a great technique that I like to use for building confidence in our trainees. Now we're gonna set the H pattern back up with a new piece of film and have him shrink the whole window by himself.